watching Fox 13, and the 10 o'clock news starts now.
It's an epidemic. It's an epidemic that we have to face. We have to make sure people know that it's okay not to be okay.
First responders from around the state are praying for Miami-Dade Police Director Freddie Ramirez. They see us on our worst days, some of the most unthinkable, and his story is highlighting the challenges they face every day. Good evening, I'm Allie Corey.
And I'm Mark Wilson. Glad to have you with us tonight. First up here at 10 o'clock, Director Ramirez. He was in Tampa to attend the annual gathering of sheriffs from all around the state of Florida. But he and his wife began arguing, and then they left the conference. When they got to Riverview, he pulled over and shot himself. Fox 13's Kylie Jones spoke with the CEO of the Crisis Center tonight, who says there is help out there for any first responder, especially who can be struggling. But let's begin with reporter Janae Lewis, who's here in our newsroom with us. Hi there, Janae. I know you just received an update on his condition. What do you know?
Mark, late this evening, Miami police posted an update that Director Ramirez completed surgery and is now listed as stable, and they are thanking everyone for their continued prayers. Now, Tampa police say this all started last night when they received third-hand information of a man pointing a gun at himself. They say the call came from downtown Tampa's JW Marriott Hotel. This is where the Florida Sheriff's Association's summer conference is being held. Officers say when they arrived, they identified the man as Freddie Ramirez, the director of the Miami-Dade Police Department. TPD says Ramirez got into an argument with his wife at the hotel. Officers investigated and allowed the couple to leave after determining that no one was in any danger. They say shortly after, he pulled off along the interstate and shot himself.
Today is a tragic day in Florida, and the law enforcement community stands with Director Ramirez and his family during this difficult time as we pray for his full recovery.
We're going to continue to process through information and evidence, digital evidence, all kinds of evidence to get to the bottom of this.
Officers say that will be important because at this time there's no first-hand witnesses or video of the incident. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement and Florida Highway Patrol are leading the investigation. In the newsroom, Janae Lewis, Fox 13 News.
All right, Janae, thanks very much. Law enforcement and first responders now are clearly heroes many days. They put their lives on the line to protect us.
But they also see the unimaginable, and they carry that weight with them in their work and sometimes at home. Fox 13's Kylie Jones is live outside of Tampa General Hospital for us tonight. That is where Director Ramirez is recovering. And Kylie, we know officer wellness really needs to be an important part of this job.
Allie, absolutely. It's something law enforcement leaders here in the Tampa Bay area stress today, but it's something, unfortunately, that so many advocates in the area say flies under the radar so easily. In fact, the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay says in less than a year's time, it got hundreds of calls to its hotline dedicated to first responders. Police officers, firefighters, EMTs, they're all the ones who answer the calls for help.
Our first responders are meant to be the helpers. They're the ones that they go into the fire, they respond when they have to, and we forget that they're human beings, that they have their own issues and feelings and emotions.
Oftentimes, their jobs push those things to the back burner.
I think for so long the stigma was that, nope, we're tough guys, we're tough women.
But first responders are sometimes the ones who need help. The Crisis Center of Tampa Bay says they see and experience things every day that can stick with them for a lifetime.
You're able to have that professional detachment. You go to your scene, you go to your call, and you're able to perform that duty. But there are oftentimes those situations, those cases that really touch you.
And they kind of put it in perspective. And you almost have to become numb to it. And I think a lot of officers have over the years just become numb to it.
That numbness can lead to silence. That's why the Crisis Center has a hotline dedicated to first responders to break that silence.
Many times our first responders feel isolated. They feel like they have nowhere to go. They're worried about their careers in this temporary moment in time.
Over an 11-month period, the Crisis Center says it's gotten nearly 600 calls from first responders or their family members. Advocates say even one person reached is one life. And the crisis center says you can call its first responder hotline 24/7 at that number at the bottom of your screen. That is 1-866-4FL-HERO. You can also call 24/7 988 hotline and 211 hotline. Allie.
Some good information there. All right, Kylie Jones live for us outside of Tampa General Hospital. Kylie, thanks.
Now this rapper accused of killing a pregnant woman 3 days after he had been acquitted of another double murder was back in a Tampa courtroom today. The state seeking the death penalty against Billy Adams, and today we learned a little bit more about the evidence prosecutors may use against him at trial. Fox 13's Chris Cato joins us now in studio. Chris, tell us about this hearing. What more do we know?
Well, Mark, we know back in his first murder trial, which this is video of here, his acquittal, Billy Adams was acquitted of killing 2 men. Prosecutors before that trial tried to submit evidence that they believe would show he's affiliated with the Crips, the street gang, but the judge barred any testimony about gang activity from being argued in front of the jury at that trial. Now it appears prosecutors in his second murder trial are going to double down on that effort. At a discovery hearing today, the state submitted its list of witnesses and evidence, which includes logs of jailhouse phone calls between Adams and people who were possibly affiliated with gang activity. Adams, a rapper who performs under the name Ace NH, is accused of shooting to death 22-year-old Alana Sims back in January. She was 5 months pregnant at the time. Police say the two had been dating. An arrest affidavit suggests that Adams killed her because he was in a relationship with another woman and didn't want Sims or the unborn baby getting in the way of that. Now, defense attorney Anthony Rickman, who is not a part of Adams' defense team, says it looks like the state has a strong case against the rapper this time around.
I tell my clients all the time, don't talk on the jail phone because prosecutors listen to it, and they do. And in this particular case, we know that what he said in the jail call has relevance in some way, shape, or form to this case. We know in the discovery that the state had put on notice, the defense, that there is potential gang affiliation, which can be used in potentially at sentencing.
Now, in the arrest affidavit, police say Adams first told them he hadn't seen or spoken to Sims in several months, but when confronted with surveillance video of his vehicle and hers entering a subdivision at the same time, they say he admitted to meeting her at a park in New Tampa where he said she pulled a gun on him and he wrestled with her and shot her. In other words, he's claiming self-defense, which is the same defense he used in his double murder trial in January. He was charged with shooting to death 2 men at a recording studio in Lutz. The jury believed him and acquitted him. 3 days later, Sims was killed. Now, this time around, the state is seeking the death penalty, citing the killing of Sims' unborn child as an aggravating factor. Adams is scheduled to be back in court in November, and it's possible that they will set a trial date then. Chris Cato, Fox 13 News.
All right, Chris, see you at 11. Well, a shooting in Sarasota is now only fueling the growing frustration among many homeowners there because they say vacation rentals are taking over their quiet neighborhood. That's surveillance video capturing cars peeling away and screams and shouting early in the morning. This apparently was last night, overnight, early this morning. Sarasota police tell us 2 people were shot at this vacation rental home. They found bullet holes in a cement fence, in a pillar of the home next door, and a sign that said for rent. Those who live nearby are fed up with those who are renting on their street.
Put limits. You rent for 1 month, you come here, but not these people that comes every other week. We have somebody new, and we don't know who they are.
Well, the rental company Lido Key Vacations had no comment. The city of Sarasota says they're working on extending regulations throughout their city. Barrier Islands already require rentals to register with the city, and they do require at least a week's stay. Protests, meantime, are posing a threat to an American ally in the Middle East.
What thousands of protesters are calling for in Israel and what it means here in the U.S. Plus this.
We are updating our Parks and Recreation Master Plan that has not been updated since, 2013.
Yeah, that's a 10-year-old plan. The city of Clearwater is growing, and they want to see more growth at its parks. What community members want to see more of in the future. Paul, how about, well, we're not even going to ask for cooler temperatures yet.
No, you got ways to go. 2.5 more months to go, and we're all set. Not bad tonight, 77 degrees outside. We had rounds of rain, again, come in from the Gulf. That rain is pretty much done. Looks like a weather pattern change on the way in a couple of days. It could mean more rain. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Don't go away.